watching and to shed more light on the topic regarding Gaza and Lebanon situation. We are delighted to have over the phone with us Ambassador Ayman Mosharafa, former Assistant Prime Minister. Welcome, Mr. Ambassador. Good morning.
Good morning to you and good morning to the audience.
Good morning to you. So, Mr. Ambassador, regarding the meeting that happened yesterday with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a meeting with CIA Director William Burns to discuss more about the ongoing situation and the escalations that has been happening in Gaza and Lebanon as well. How do you read this meeting?
Actually, it's not the first meeting. The Egyptian diplomacy is very active, and the president is involving himself to the Egyptian mediation effort to de-escalate the crisis and the tension in the Middle East. American envoys, Mr. Blinken himself, the American Secretary of State, and it's not the first visit of the CIA director too. We have, Cairo has a constant diplomatic efforts and diplomatic meetings in Cairo to try to find a way out for the crisis and to establish a ceasefire, which would help to establish a line of humanitarian aid to the people living in Gaza Strip. So it's our prime importance and the top of our agenda in the Egyptian diplomacy.
Okay, regarding the humanitarian aid, we have seen since the October 7 genocide war, we have seen a blockage of the humanitarian aid from entering actually the Rafah crossing. So what was the main obstacle facing this situation?
From the outset of the crisis, Egypt had open ports, airports, landline. Rafah crossing was the only lifeline for the people in Gaza delivering aid, and not only on after 7 of October. Before that, the 80% of the humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip and the medicine supplies, the food supplies were flowing to Gaza through Rafah. But after the destruction of the Palestinian part of the Gaza Strip by the Israelis, the Rafah border is not serviceable. So it has reduced drastically the amount and the quality and the quantity of aid to the Palestinians. And lately, the very, very strange decision by to outlaw the activity of the UNRWA in the occupied territory of Israel would curtail the international effort to help the refugees. UNRWA was founded by a United Nations decree after 1948, and it's a very successful operation since more than around 17 years in Palestine and in Jordan, everywhere. So I mean, this move is a part of the Israeli blockade to stop the Palestinian people, which is not acceptable, and Egypt have actually pointed out that this is not acceptable, and the international community have expressed their deep concern too.
Yes, regarding the UNRWA topic, actually we have seen that Israel banned the UNRWA from operating in Al-Quds. So how do you think the world will be responding to this action, with actually the U.S. commenting on that as a threat, or she does not accept it? So how do you think the world would react to this incident?
The UNRWA was funded by the United Nations, and the United Nations represents the totality of the international community. So I expect that the international community will not be silent and vocally condemn and go to action, not vocally only, because we have been hearing spoken and verbal condemnation, but not action, not economic sanctions, not even travel ban. There is a big menu of sanctions that the international community could use against the arbitrary decisions of Israel from the starting of the war of October. I hope that the international community will side with the United Nations and the Secretary General, Mr. Gutierrez, in this sense.
Okay. Egypt actually has been playing a very important role in resolving the issue since the war actually erupted. So how do you evaluate the Egyptian efforts since the beginning of the crisis?
Of course, since the beginning of the crisis, we have convened the first international conference about the crisis in the administrative capital a few days after the operation and the outbreak of the war. And we tried to establish a ceasefire and humanitarian land to the people of Gaza, even to try to a permanent solution or to start a real negotiation for a two-state solution according to the United Nations resolutions. And we are not alone. We have the Qatari mediation, the American mediation, but all these efforts throughout more than a year fell on deaf ears on the Israeli decision makers. Mr. Netanyahu, his survival depends on the continuation of the war, and each initiative presented by the decision of the Americans were refused by Netanyahu because the survival of his government depends on the continuation of the hostilities.
Okay. How would reaching an immediate ceasefire agreement and the escalation could spare the region the scourge of expanding the conflict, actually?
Actually, the Israeli decision maker is waiting for the result of the election. Nothing would be forwarded, accepted before the American election. Netanyahu is a very clever and very wicked politician. He is waiting for the American election to see who is the winner. After that, he will start putting his terms according to the Israeli interest. And he spelled it out very clearly that he wants to finish fast. He wants to create a new vision of his Middle East. But this is not acceptable to anybody. Imposing the Israeli will it's not acceptable to anybody, because the Israeli will is out of the international legality and the international convention.
Okay, commenting on the U.S. elections, can you tell us more about the elections and how do you think it's actually playing a huge role in what's happening now?
According to the Arab voters, the Muslim voters and the visible communities were always a key factor in deciding the victory of a certain candidate upon the other. Usually the Arabs and the visible community like Hispanic, the black, were voting with the Democratic Party. But lately most of the Arabs, the Muslims, were really disappointed and disenchanted with the position of Harris toward the Arab cause. The total silence of the Democratic Party to condemn the Israeli aggression and the Israeli violation of the international humanitarian law and kind of humanitarian convention. So I think Harris will be losing the vote of the Arabs, and most of the vote will be alternative votes towards Trump or the third candidate. And I do not see a real difference between the position of Trump and Kamala Harris regarding the Palestinian issue. Both of them they are making an auction of how to attract the APAC and the media and the big donors of the Jewish lobby in the United States, which is very powerful.
Of course, of course. So moving to Lebanon, how do you see the escalations going there? Do you think are we reaching an agreement soon or what?
Not yet. As I told you, the Lebanon is back to Gaza, and we are waiting for the election. Hopefully have been traveling continuously shuttling between Beirut and Tel Aviv to try to find a solution. But still the Israelis are not accepting a ceasefire, and they're accepting their own plan of making a buffer zone, disarming Hezbollah, blah, blah, blah. All the condition which is changing from day to day. The Israeli doesn't have even a static condition. Each day when we see that we are nearing an agreement, we have a stumbling block from the Israeli government. They are doing delaying tactics, as I said, to see the American election become.
Oh, so what's your expectations for the future of the Israeli-Hezbollah tension?
Well, it depends on the Israeli tactics and the will of Hezbollah to resist. Of course, Hezbollah has been damaged. Most of the first line and second line of command have been decapitated. The war machine of Hezbollah has been incapacitated in a certain way. But still, I mean, Hezbollah is inflicting damage to the Galilee city and all the north of Israel, and still you have more than 70,000 Israeli out of their places. So still, I mean, the game is not over. But Israel is practicing systematic destruction of the city of Lebanon. They are punishing civilians. They are trying to destroy Lebanon. Netanyahu threatened one time that will reduce Lebanon to the Stone Age, which again, it's against the international law and the conventions of war.
Okay. Since October 7, genocide war erupted, and we've been hearing a lot of negotiations and a lot of meetings going around the world to actually reach a truce, and with actually the international court giving a statement that Israel should stop the genocide war. But all of these are nothing but talks. Do you think we should be expecting a truce or an end to the genocide war in the near future?
Well, there is no negotiation in the international court. International court is a legal instrument, and the ruling depends on documents presented to the international court, and a lot of countries have joined South Africa in this case. And I think South Africa, day by day, are presenting more evidence about genocide, about more than 30 crimes that the Israeli committed, like attacking hospitals, attacking Red Cross area, attacking school, attacking establishments like UNRWA, plus more than 25. So I do hope that there is a clear verdict from the international court, but even there is a clear verdict, this verdict should be sent to the Security Council, and it's up to Security Council to implement it. The ruling of the Court of Justice is a legal and moral ruling, but the court has no teeth. The teeth really exist in the Security Council, which is dominated by the United States. And the veto of the United States is always pending on any decision, hampering a decision condemning it.
Okay. Actually undergo international pressure regarding its stand or its mission for the Palestinian cause and Lebanon as well?
I didn't hear your question.
Do you think Egypt undergo international pressure regarding its position or its stand for the Palestinian cause and Lebanon as well?
Of course, Egypt is a key player. especially in the Palestinian issue.
Yes.
Because we are the lifeline of Gaza, and we are an important player too in Lebanon. This continuous flow of diplomats and key decision makers to Cairo is a manifestation of the importance of Egypt. So Egypt is trying to do its best to find a middle ground or a middle way and to convince both sides to sit to the negotiation table and find a solution. Because the politicians maybe are not suffering, but the real loser is the Palestinian people, who is losing every day their lifeline.
Okay, with the meeting that happened yesterday with the CIA director, do you think we're going somewhere with this meeting?
Well, we do hope so. We should be always hopeful. And I think that the president has spelled out and expressed the Egyptian point of view. And maybe he presented some new initiatives. Because, as I said, the Egyptian diplomacy and the president is involved in that personally to solve this crisis, which is affecting the Egyptian economy, the Egyptian national security. And we do hope that this crisis will be over soon.
Okay, so as you know, everyone now is concerned about the U.S. elections. So can you brief us about the situation there?
Actually, it's neck-to-neck competition. The polls are not clear yet. They have opened some station of early polling. And in Pennsylvania, Trump, as usual, is crying out for fraud and whatever. So you could not have a clear prediction of the outcome of this election. This election will be the most difficult election in the American history because there is no clear voters. Even though the intention of the voter is not clear and the polls are not clear.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador Ayman Mosharafa, former Assistant Prime Minister, for being with us and talking with us about the ongoing escalations that has been happening in Gaza as well as Lebanon. And thank you for being with us, and thank you for taking enough time to discuss with us this matter. A short break and we'll be back.